Another day where we do game engine in Golang from scratch, more or less. So this is day 14. Let me just edit up the name on Twitch. So this is day 14. Day 14. 2 weeks of work. And I think we got, somewhere. It's getting there. All right. So last time, let me open up what we did. We got texturing, which is very cool. Let's go on. There we go. So we got these boys rotating, right, with this image, and the light is affecting the texture hopefully correctly. We do see some aliasing, that's fine, it's a separate issue. Yeah, now we can obviously work on many things, like we can expand the renderer to do more advanced things like shadows and expand the material system. But I think what I would like to do is focus on going more in the direction of, let's get this into a state where we can do at least some very basic game, some project that is not within the engine itself, right? So you should be able to import nMage, set up dependencies if need be, and then do a project of your own. So to do that, we obviously need the game loop, this thing, to somehow be callable from a different project, not within nMage. And let's see. So you have an engine loop. Okay, our rendering setup, we can discuss that. We can continue working on the material system and then objects. So like some kind of entity system, entity components / system, because you don't necessarily have an entity component system. Usually it's just that entities and components. So you have components, you attach them to some entities, and that's it. And then you just deal with them in a maybe an object-oriented way, in a sense, right? So that's possible. There, I hope no sound comes in. Check OBS. Cancel. Hello. All right. So I think the audio as well. It's good. Okay. So now that we have this, I think let's look at continuing to abstract this. Now, there are multiple ways we can do this. We can, for example, make some kind of class, which I think we discussed last time, where we have this engine, and we essentially have a struct for the engine itself. You just create that, and you fill up some fields and you go with it, right? And there are some functions on that. Or we just say, no, you have one instance of the engine, so we can have some nice timing packages that are independent, and the engine package kind of calls into you. So one potential way is, in our engine, what we want is some kind of functions, some amount of functions that we need to call, the engine calls, right? So maybe we have, I'm thinking something like, engine, I might just rename this to nMage instead of engine, maybe, but let's see. So engine, engine.run, and we say like my game, right? And the engine kind of calls the game, and it runs this loop internally and calls some functions on the game itself. I'm not sure how exactly all of this will run, but something along those lines, I believe. And then you can call maybe engine.stop or something, you give it this game. Yeah. So to be able to do that, we need some kind of interface that we can use. Let's try to just play with it. Let's say, all right, so we have some kind of game, so engine.game, which is an interface. Now, what you get is a game is a bunch of functions that are called by the engine, I believe. So maybe, how do we want to structure this? Because we don't have entities yet. So you could go the route of things like, you probably want to do that, like Unity, or I think Unreal does that, where your objects get callbacks on them. And this can either be implemented on the engine itself or by the game, probably by the engine. So when the engine has an entity system, you define your entities in there, your components, and call into those. Which is fine. But for now, let's do this. So, I don't know, let's do an init, perhaps, to give the game to do anything up front. And then let's define a bunch of kind of events that happen. So like a frame start before anything. I'm not sure if this matters, but we'll say, let's just look at it. Handle inputs. So the event handling, probably all of this is going to move into the engine. And all you do is you interact with the input package, right? So you might care to know, like, hey, you know, all the inputs have been processed. I'm not sure. Then like inputs processed, perhaps, I'm not sure. So we're just kind of thinking out loud here. And then the game logic. Let's see. So we have an init, a frame start. Let's simplify and get, say, like after inputs. So after inputs have been processed, and then a normal update loop. I can update the callback, and then a render callback, and then frame end callback. Yeah. Now this kind of processing in here is going to be done by the engine, right? Let's do engine game something. Let's do game.go package engine. Right. Oh wow. Saving a file takes so much processing power for some reason. Okay. So we might have a func run which takes a game, right, interface. So if we have that, what are we going to do? So as we run a game, this is essentially going to be our loop, right? So it's going to be our render loop, sorry, not our render loop, our game loop rather. It's going to be this. Now I would like to control some state, so I'm not sure if this can be done. We can say like, okay, stop game, something like that. How do we keep track, essentially, if one, we want to play the game? So perhaps we can say, yeah, I'm not sure. It could be global, so the engine can run one game, or it could be that, okay, the engine can run multiple games at once. Right, so let's do that. Let's just do the stupidest thing we can think of that makes it easy, and then we'll update as we go, because as we use it, it will be very clear what's a nice setup here. I want to strike a balance between the simplicity of kind of integrating a game with the engine, but also having a lot of control if you really want to do some advanced things. You want to really know exactly everything that the engine is doing, and then, you know, kind of do things at very specific points in time. But yeah, most of these can just be empty. You probably want to do something at update, something at render. That's all you care about. But the rest is basically, hey, you know, we have these things if you want to do something. Now, when you run, we're going to call game.init. And then while should close. Maybe we say should run, perhaps, and this returns a bool to us. So while the game should run, by default this should return true, right? Unless the player wants to stop. What are we going to do? So we will have all of this window stuff, all the inputs. So let's forget this guy. So we need to handle inputs. Right, so init, and we say, you know, g frame started. Then we do some things in the engine, and then, you know, like process inputs, which we'll do in a minute. And then at the end, of course, we have frame end. After inputs, we want to call g dot after inputs, and then we call updates. And then once all the updates in the game have been made on all the objects, we render, and then frame end, and that's it. That's about what should happen. Yeah. Now we need to bring in the input code here. So we're going to do this. So we have a window in the engine file. So this is a lot of window stuff. Init OpenGL. All right. Now this is part of SDL. So I think it makes sense if let's take this guy. Let's just copy it now. Put it here, right? And this is perhaps part of the window. Let's put it in here, right? Now, on the window, do we have IMGUI? Okay, so this is kind of integrated IMGUI. Let's ignore IMGUI for now. Let's see, because a UI system is a different thing. You don't necessarily want IMGUI. Maybe the engine has its own UI framework that we do. Maybe that's something to see. But for now, let's just do the things that we do need. Is running. Yeah, so the game probably wants to know about this. Yeah. So one thing is the game might want to get access to the raw events potentially, or at least some of them, like array size or a quit event. And the window resize. Okay, this is all IMGUI stuff. Oops. Okay, handle window resize. So window, let's see, window width and height. Maybe we don't want those. So we can just say window. So we get these from here, and then perspective, simple material. Okay, this we don't care about. Yeah. Just resize GL. Okay. Okay. Why did we want the original though? All right, we don't care. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And we just do dirty dots. Where are we doing the resize though? Are we really not getting an event that's telling us exactly like, oh, you resized? Mouse resize. I think that was the issue. No? Yeah. Okay, for now, maybe. Okay, let's check. Resize. Window event. Let's see if window event dot type equal SDL dot window event underscore moved resized. Not sure what the difference is, but let's see. Resized or size changed. Then maybe we can say e dot type and print line, you know, resized. Okay. Good thing we have to see. So what I'm essentially trying to set up here is something like I think we can search for Unity events, engine events, something like that. Sorry, let me. Like we want a callback order. There we go. This one. Order of events. So these are events fired by the engine and gives you some kind of understanding of how the engine is running and what order is doing things, at least in general. And then giving us kind of hooks that it calls callbacks that runs on the game itself when something is done or started, whatever it is. So you can see that there's an initialization step, like awake or enable start, and these are for scripts in the game. So this is all for a script within a script on Unity. So we have some initialization stuff, and then after those we have some stuff for physics. So you can see physics always happens before the input events, and then we have on mouse something, so only one callback for events, and then the update happens. And in the update you have access to input dot, just like we are doing here, is input dot something, to read the updated keys, things like that, and then some coroutine stuff, some updates. So here you have your update, your late update, where you put most of your game logic, and then a bunch of rendering calls, which always happen, you can see, after late updates. And then on draw gizmos, GUIs, and whatnot, and then destroy. So this kind of structure, this is essentially the game loop, and how the game is handled, or the logic is run. And what we want to do is we want to also provide a bunch of callbacks, at least to the game at this point, because we don't have an entity system, and that might be one of the reasons why this is a bit doesn't make sense at this stage. I'm not sure, because you do want to run events on the entities. So each component system, like in our component system, we're going to need to have, let's say, an update, and then input, whatever it is, right? And in it, at least a destroy call and an update call potentially, right, on different components. So we're going to need something like this per component, but I'm thinking for now, just to get something started, we will call these events on the game object itself. So you just say, here's your game, you do whatever you want there, you call your objects, you run your objects in any way you want, but we're going to kind of call into you and tell you that we have done X, this is ready, or your logic has been run. And the order is pre-specified, like this is going to be in the docs, that we have this order of events, just like this thing exists, right? Okay, so let's forget about objects. Let's just abstract all the work we have done here and put it into something kind of independent, because this helped us get started, but now everything is jumbled up. GUI is connected to the input, and there's just no separation whatsoever, right? So we might even have a UI package where we put all the GUI stuff and we just send events to it, just like we send events to the input package here, right? Well, do the same for GUI, just send it events. That's what we are going to try to do, hopefully. Okay, game logic, that's a specific. Drawing, again, specific to the game. All right. So for getting GUI, we do need to see this. What about something like quit? This just might be something on the input. Yeah, let's let the input system take care of this. So we say So perhaps you can have function like, is it a key or something else? But at least for one frame, so we can say quit requested, right? And that's a bool. And then when we start the event loop, we can just cancel that. So quit requested, false. And we can say func handle quit requests, right? Or quit event. And we say, hey, SDL.quit event. And in here, now that's nicer, right? Inputs dot handle quit event. Take this, please. And for now, all we are going to do is just quit requested equals true, and that's it. Now we can get one. Is quit clicked, maybe? Let's see. But for now, all we are going to do is return quit requested. So now the game can check, if it wants, through the input system whether a quit is requested. So if you click the X button on the window, this will happen. Right. Let's see. Let's go to the game engine. So now we have let's okay, now let's see. This we'll need to reconnect to IMGUI, and I think for now our UI package will just be IMGUI. Like, that's literally our UI package that you can use, but we kind of abstract away all the events and all the things that have to happen under that. So all of these will happen there. Okay. Now that we have this, where's our game? So in process events, we need access to a window. That's the problem with the interface. We don't get. Okay, let's do. We can take it as a parameter, or we can ask for it. in the interface. Let's do this. Get window, which returns a window pointer, maybe. Init, create window. All right, yes, it's pointer. So we get this. We say after init, just to get time, g.getWindow, and then in here, we can just say handle inputs. There we go. Nice. So we have this frame started, handle inputs, after inputs, updates, render, and a frame it. That should do it. Init, frame start, and should run. Right. And otherwise, we just return. Oh, and here we can say deinit. Maybe a bad name, but should be good for now. Deinit runs at the end. That's all game. That's all it does. It just fires a bunch of callbacks and does right now a bit of work, only a little bit. And except for ImGUI. Let's see. But now we are not using ImGUI. So let's try to move our thing here into that. So let's see. This I was just testing. Remove this. So one small thing I made is it is go run does debug mode or go build does debug mode by default, and if you want release mode without any asserts or anything, so you do go run dash tags release dot, right? But in most cases you're going to do just go run. Okay, so in it we create a window. Now what we're going to need is essentially type our game. Let's start. Right? So this is a new project using nMage in its own repo. It's going to do this. We won't really have anything. Maybe a window. Sorry, yeah. Window is just engine.window. Right? Now, we're going to implement the functions required, and that's why I don't want to make it too big, but we'll see if we want to break it down. Is we will need to implement these functions, right? Even if they're just empty, they need to be there to satisfy the interface. So we're going to say, so I don't forget them, init the game, frame start. Give me this, please. After inputs, updates. That's one of the main callbacks that we will use. Render callback. Frame end. And should run usable. For now, we'll return true all the time. Right. Get window will just return engine.window g.window. And the init, right? The init. Maybe in the init we just say, window dot is there a close? That's right. Right, that's this looks good. So you implement these, and maybe we want to reduce some of this boilerplate. You do whatever you want inside there, right? So maybe in your main, you init, you create a window, all of that. You maybe set some settings like vsync, sure. Let's remove ImGUI for now. Let's forget all this. This is all crafts. So all additional stuff. This is essentially game logic, right? But what do we need for the most minimalistic thing? All of this goes away. Really? Timing. Oh, we do need to hit So I think timing dot frame started. Frame started goes here, and timing dot frame ended. What does that do? This guy is dt. I think actual frame ended is here. Right. Yeah. Okay, what else? Frame ended, setting title is game logic, and then all of that. Okay. So all of this is now replaced by engine.run, our game, and the window is the window. That's it. Now let's see. So if we really want to be minimalistic, we can remove all of these uniforms. I just want to see what's the most minimal setup we need for a game. These are all extras. This is like the stuff we're doing. Anytime GUI. Yeah, maybe we do want to abstract this more. Let's see. We'll see about that. But I think that's it. So it really comes down to, if I move this up, init the engine, get a window, set some settings, and run. And then let's return. And this is where we write all our logic, right? So in init, we don't want to do anything, but we can just say hello from init, and frame start after inputs. Actually, since we're doing it this way, let's take all of this. You say, hey, this is game stuff. Let's put all of this in init. Right. Why are you sad? Why are you sad? There. So all of this in it, we just load a bunch of things, load meshes, textures. I don't like this, but yeah, let's see. Add texture ID. Anyway, I'm GUI movement. So yeah, that's set up. Now our main is tiny, very nice. And let's see. Handle inputs doesn't get called. Window resize isn't part of this anymore, so I'll just comment them out for now. Anytime GUI comment update view matrix. Okay, that's like game logic. So all of this fancy game logic can go into, take all of this. This can go into updates, right? And so main, okay, draw. So we take all the draw stuff, we put it render. We can get rid of draw. So we go to our render code. So init updates render is very simple right now. Don't render UI. We don't want UI right now. Is that it? Maybe that's it. This is UI again. So most of it is commented. We have a small part that is actual stuff. Let's see if this works at all. I don't know. Too many changes. Yep. All right. Assertion failed. Let's see. No current contexts. Okay, ImGUI stuff. Where are we calling ImGUI? Where did we call ImGUI? In update. Okay, 164. That. Oh, all right. We have a bunch of ImGUI stuff. We have time. Do we use it? No, it's just here. Okay. So this is all ImGUI. ImGUI think from here till the end is all ImGui. And everything before is okay. These are controls. Still, I think main go 203. Oh, cube mesh is not initialized. That's weird. It's oh right. Var error. Oh, there we go. So exactly as before, minus ImGui. But we have something. We do have something. Nice. Our our quit is not being handled right now. So let's do that. In our update, we can say if input quit is quit clicked. So we say, so here we can say, you know, quitting the bool. You say, you know, quitting g quitting equals true, and in here instead of returning true on should run, return g dot quitting. Actually, reverse that. Yeah, let's give it. Let's do not quitting. Nice. Now we're getting something resembling a game engine, very, very slowly, but it's getting there. ImGui is just like all over the place. Most of our code actually turned out to be ImGui. So it really needs to go into its own package, and I think it's good enough for now to use as a package. So let's actually do that. I say UI and make a sub package called ImGui, because who knows? Now we just say imgui.go, and I think I would like to maybe I will say engine. That's too long. Engine ImGui. nMage ImGui. Yeah, it's a bit long, but let's see. Because we might have other implementations or other UI systems. So moving that, and I think the way I would like it to work is just like the input system. It's going to give us a bunch of callbacks, right? A bunch of events that we call so that it runs. That should do it. All right, so let's look at all the code this we're done with. This is our game, right? So is all of this in update? Okay. So all of this needs to happen in update. Where should it happen, before or after? Yeah, so all the UI stuff must happen before. So all this like setting up a frame such that by the time we hit an update, GUI should be usable, right? At frame start, actually. Yeah, at frame start. And after processing inputs, because ImGui does rely on the inputs. So we need to handle the inputs. All right, so let's take all of this. Actually, not this. I would like to get the inits. Yes, init ImGui. Handle inputs is really gone. We didn't need all of this anymore. No, actually, it does have ImGui stuff, but we did move it. Okay, let's take all of this and this handle window resize. Goodbye. And just make sure in our game, not the game, in the engine, Okay, so our comments are still there. That's good to know. And is there any weird stuff here? No. Okay. Let's go on. So we have draw UI and we have an init for ImGUI. Create context. Okay. Okay, let's take all of this. Q and put it in here. Now, where is Mr. ImGUI info? Take this. ImGUI info. Oh wow. GL 2.1. No. 4.1. I believe. 4.1 core. And let's just take this. All right, I'm going material, I'm going info. Okay. Now, init ImGUI essentially fills up this object. So we say not init, but new ImGUI. And this gives us, and I need for a pointer, we just say ImGUI info. Like this. Oh man, Go is really struggling right here. Can you? Oh wow. Why? ImGUI is undefined. Okay, just being completely confused. nMage ImGUI. Undeclared MGL. The whole thing is undeclared. Why are you complaining? I'm okay, sure. Okay. If someone has any recommendation for something other than VS Code, please do. This is painful. It's just painful. Oh man, are we going to code today? Saving. I like how it's just saving. It's crazy. What do you do? Vet on save. Just vet one package. Should be easy. Oh man. I just have an idea. Can I even? Right. Of course. Yeah, things have to crash. Now I can't do anything. Well, I hope we don't lose the work we were doing. VS Code, really. I really do hope we don't do that. Come on. Alright, it's completely dead. I think we need to force it. Okay. Let's get a new window. Nope, won't let us. Alright. We have to force it, unfortunately. Go die. What to do? One day I really think we just try to own it or something. Alright, at least this thing is there. Are you going to save it or get stuck again? I'm going mad. Alright, this is something. I'm going mad. Materials are fine. Get your material. We'll probably get it here. Nice. And all of this dot mat, it's just that. There it is. Nice. What's wrong? Oh, right. At the end, we can say, please return info. Perfect. Keys. Okay, IMIO. Perfect. GL. So now it is tied to OpenGL, but I guess it's okay for now. And we are setting font. Yeah, we're using a default font. I would really like to change that, but yeah, I think if you have this, if you have access, let's give you access. Make sure you have access to the context. I am context, the material, all the OpenGL info. That should do it. Do we miss anything? Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can change it, so that's fine. All right, I think this gives you full control, and you should even be able to create multiple. This is good. Now, on the I'm GUI info, should I call it context? On the GUI, it could implement an interface that we defined on the UI. For now, let's just say I'm GUI info. So we have an init. What do we have? What else? We have a per frame, right? A frame start essentially, and a render. Cool. After updates, you cannot use. So, yeah, this will introduce spots where you might not be able to use the GUI. So like frame start, right? And you will want a render, maybe a frame end. So all of this is just like frame start. Put it in here. So after you get your inputs, what you want to do is I'm GUI. Can we get it from the thing? Nope, we can't. All right. So I'm GUI. We can give the window information, sure, that's fine. Should take a window. Just say win width and win height, both as float 32. Time it can get from the timing package. I hope we're keeping track of ticks. So timing elapsed time perhaps. Timing of elapsed time. We don't need this. Okay. Now in between the new frame, this is just setup. Elapsed time in seconds, I hope. Yeah, it's in seconds. All right. So elapsed time since the game started. When we start a new frame, and all the rendering, all the GUI commands must happen in here, and then we co-render. So this guy just goes in here, right? And all of this goes away. There we go. And that's all right. So now, what do we want? We want get GUI, where you return an GUI oh, come on. nMage GUI dot GUI info. Yes, please. /UI/nMage. Oh, I hope it doesn't hang again. I didn't think we'd go and abstract GUI today, but it seems we're doing it. I'm really happy with that. This looks amazing, honestly. Then everything is kind of in its own small package and completely independent. Why do we have a wow? Goodbye. Okay. Is this not the correct name? nMage. What? Why are you sad? UI slash oh right slash I'm good. Should you call this just sure. And in here, in our game, we will need this function along with this. There you go. And we need to return this guy. I'm doing info. I am GUI info. nMage I'm GUI. There we go. Now in init, maybe, or actually when we create it in main, go. Yeah, when we create our game, let's do game. We can init all these things. So here is your GUI. Now this will probably be an interface in the future, so it's all right. Let's create a new GUI and we run. Perfect. Except there's an error somewhere. Where is it? Why are you hiding? Oh, game inits and GUI material. Yeah. Why are you here? So material. Oh, we need to init this guy. All right. So we actually have this material. Should be. Yeah. Cool. So that's that. Does it run GUI? I don't know. Oh, we still need to call the functions. All of this is to go into this guy. So we need a render. And then, you know, it does an GUI render and then draws the actual thing, which is hopefully at the end of everything, after the render call of the game. So UI is the last thing. when width, when height, sure thing. Do we actually use those? Yes, we do. Okay. I don't remember if this gives us window dot SDL window dot GL get drawable size 32. FB width and FB height in 32. Cool. I'm going math. That's just I dot material. All this can be optimized because we're doing so many set uniforms. Okay, this is just I dot in here. So this in here is all of this. I'm going info, just I, again I, and I. There we go. Save this. Now we need our engine to make these calls. And we have to be careful about where to make them. So when our frame starts, ideally, wherever you get a callback, you're actually able to use ImGUI. The issue is this frame starts happens before the inputs, and before the inputs you cannot use ImGUI. So maybe we switch this. So we do the inputs, we do you know, UI is g.get ImGUI. We do inputs, we do UI.frame start. What do you want? Okay, so window dot w dot size, is it? Width, height. Okay. So we do this. Okay. So we start the timer essentially to update whatever delta times. We start counting delta time. We handle the inputs, we set up the UI, and now you are able to render. And every single callback, this is my aim, that you get, you can just use the UI normally, because you don't want special weird cases, or you cannot do UI at this position or whatever. So frame starts you can, and the render, the weird part is, you know, the frame end is outside the UI ideally. But might be useful. So maybe we'll put a condition on that. But in here we can do UI.render, right? And we say, you know, width, height, height, and STL window gets GL drawable size, right? So FB width and FB height. And we just do that. There we go. Cool. So we do this, and that's it, I think. Now we should be able to do UI stuff. Yeah, perhaps. Why are you complaining? Ooh, now we can enable these things. Yes, I completely forgot. Yes. So one last step is ImGUI does need to get input events. I mean, it is not connected to the thing, but I think it should be v4, right? Yeah. Slash v4. So we get this, and then there you go. Because now we only support, even though we return struct, we support only one context. But I guess that's okay. Right. Resize, I'm not sure if this resize thing is proper because I remember last time we faced issues with this not firing. So let's see, we'll check this. And then all of this UI stuff. Okay. Get mouse states. Do we not have mouse positions? Get mouse states. Why are we? Get me. Get mouse state. I think it's just X and Y. Really nothing else. X, Y, and states. And I think whether it's pressed or not. Let's see. X coordinate relative to the focus window. Right, and whether it's pressed or not. Okay. Because I don't want to do SDL stuff. SDL. Maybe it's fine. Maybe. Okay, let's get it this way. Let's see. Do we run? Do we not run? We do. We don't have UI drawing, but that we can fix hopefully. So in our game, you know, in our logic, perhaps we want to say, camera speed. All right, let's do some angry stuff. So if we say, if I'm GUI, you know, dot, what do we have? Dot, is it? I think is this one. Okay. Camera position. You say, hey, campus, the data. Oof. This is. Let's see. So how do we do? What is all of this? There we go. That's simple. Okay. So, you know, if that happens, we really don't need to do anything. I don't think. Let's see. Oh, we don't see UI. Are we calling render? Are we calling render? We are. Which does a render and then all of this magic. UI and GUI. Yeah. Do we miss something? Okay, let's do also a button. So we say if test if I'm GUI button hello. And if we do this, hello. No, we don't see. Oh, let's also reset the AnGUI INI, which just saves where you moved your windows and things like that. Let's remove those. No, we still don't see UI. Okay. Unless we did something very wrong, this does look fine. I mean, we're not crashing, and we are making the callbacks to the UI system. Okay. So frame end, get time GUI, we are doing that with the context and all. What does this do? Current IO, active context. GUI info. Yeah, set current. Then you can do that as well, just to make sure that if we're dealing with multiple IAM GUIs. So where is that? Let's actually do that just to be safe. If someone is doing something weird. So in here we can say I dot context set current, and if there is an error for now, what you want to do is just, I guess, assert. Hopefully it doesn't have max runtime. Check search false. Setting IAM GUI as current failed error, and okay. So we'll do that, and we'll do it render. As the frame finds the data, and then we can retrieve and draw, right? Which is what we do here, right? So all of that, cool. I don't think this will make a difference because we just have one context, but yeah, no difference. Do we have an IV created? No. Yes, let's make sure. Do we have any IAM GUI v4? Okay, and in here as well, v4, okay. Frame start and render. Oh, I think I know why. Because of the state of the renderer, right? Okay, so what we used to do, I think this swap is not really part of the thing. This should be done by the engine after render, right? Because we need to give time. This is the issue. So we need to give time to IAM GUI to actually put these things, and then we swap it, right? We're putting it on the buffer with the proper settings and then swap. What's happening is we are swapping it, then writing it to the other buffer. Well, I think shouldn't it show us a delayed one, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Maybe because we clear. That's why. Yeah, no point. So we swap, we get a clear buffer, or like we draw on a buffer, and then the game clears that buffer. So it is drawing, but that's not correct. So we are going to do the swap in the engine. Right after a render, perhaps. So once you get the render call, by frame end, you already have that. So we say, w swap. You don't need swap. So all the game has to care about, hey, if you want to clear, we can clear that for them to make it easier. I'm not sure. Because then this thing is very, very nice. Like it doesn't have any of that. Well, for now, I guess let's move it. And if someone wants more control, we can maybe figure something out. So just before render, or should we do it at the start of the frame? No, I guess a render, right? That makes sense. So before render, we clear, and then we do this. This is 4.14. There we go. Does this not have like a clear gl create swap? Yeah, doesn't. Anyway. Actually, let's move it. Let's keep it. We can put this in the docs if we want. For now. Yes, we have this. We have it, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is crashing. Let's see if resize works. Seems to work. Not really. Okay, resize is broken. We did not get a resize event, so if you remember, we put a print. So SDL for some reason never gives us resize events, but otherwise this is working. Yeah. So let's do SDL window resize events. I really don't get it. We used to check like, hey, is the size different than before? Window event resized. Resizing. Wow, this is really unreadable. There's this. Okay. Are not event types. Oh. Window union field for extra data. Event. Event.window. Okay. So maybe it seems we're using it wrong in the engine. So if the type is a window event, then e.events events window ID. Make sure. What do we do with the window? Window event size changed. Okay. Is this in the data or what? Let's see. As we resize to data 1 into data 2. Always preceded by a size changed. Okay. If the size was changed by the user. Size change. Okay. So let's do size changed only. I just don't understand how. Is there something? Event data padding associated window. Sure. What? How do we check? So a window event.window. So we have the events.window dot event again. Okay, all right, so it's this one perhaps. Cool. Handle window resize, window handle inputs. All right, let's see if this worked. Nice, it does work. You can see the UI is not breaking anymore. You can zoom in, zoom out. Is it distorted or am I think it's just stretched a bit. Oh yeah, it is stretched, I think. Yes, it is. We just need to update, I think, the camera projection. But aside from that, This is good. Okay, finally fix this. Handle this guy. So what we used to do, I believe, and if we can go to nMage, let's look at our old code. We just updated the matrix, update view matrix, resize. Okay, so if we did resize, the only extra stuff we did is we updated the projection matrix. I mean, as we develop further, all of this will hopefully be abstracted away. So the camera class will receive kind of events or an update check and then update itself, things like that. Yeah, but for now we don't have a camera class. That's actually one other thing. Maybe this is a bit further down the line, but camera class to take care of all of this mess. But for now, is it an input or an unresize? Yeah. So perhaps we want to keep something on the input system such that the game can query and say, hey, okay, the thing was resized, so please do X and Y. I'm not sure. I mean, once we have a renderer, this thing would be automatic. We'd have a camera with some fields like a projection matrix, and then we would just update that on whatever material we're drawing, but we don't have that yet. So, well, for now, let's get rid of this. And let's come in and say our game, if input maybe was resized, but for now, every update, let's just say, let's do this, be done, to get rid of stretching. Right. So if we go really small, thank you, GUI. Yeah, so I don't think there's stretching like before. Let's do this. No, there is actually a little bit. That's a little bit. Oof. Did we do other things? I think we did. We didn't just do that. So this is one thing. Perspective, uniform. And in our game logic, so where is our game logic? Logic. Updating the view matrix. So did we do that? Update view matrix. We are doing that. Yeah. What did we do? What did we do? So on resize, I think GUI handles it every frame, but then not this. Not what we are doing. Should be handle when to resize, yeah. Okay, this is weird. Update view matrix, which we do call resize, is only these two places. When width, when height. So we just need to make sure one of the things is our when width and height is being set correctly. We're using the correct call for that. So in the engine, the game, actually, say get size, get drawable size, what do you say? Maximum size, min size, set size. Okay, so I think get size correct, I believe. This is the way to, all right. Height and width and height and width. Okay, it's already an hour and a half. So if we have actually textures, we don't have any form of collisions, but since we have textures and now we can actually, we have abstracted, I think, away enough to the point that you really don't have a lot to do. You just do your game. Yes, there is a bit of math involved because you have to do these things manually regarding the camera, but maybe in a week or two we can do some basic game, even though without collisions yet. But we can code that for something simple. Okay. Now what's really confusing me is why are we getting this very bad stretching on the camera? Did this happen before? I don't know. I am really not sure. Should we just copy all of this? Let's see. I would like to know. Maybe it was there. Who knows? Let's put put everything here. Save. It did save. Let's run. All right, so this is the old build which we had. Looks the same, but what if we stretch it? Oh, so you can see how it always looks very good. All the proportions are correct. Yeah, that's what we want. So it is different a little bit. So in draw and then draw UI. Draw update render. It does look the same, so I'm not sure. Oh, is this? Okay, maybe. Let's get back to what we had. Maybe the size we get here at this point, where is this? In the input system. So what we do is we say, okay, we got this event and we handle the window resize, and we rely on the get drawable size to actually have changed by then. Now, if it did not get changed, like at this point we're still reading all data, then that's the issue. Okay, let's do something func paint window. I hope this doesn't crash, but what I want to do is time sleep 5 seconds, 2 seconds, and then I'm going to do print line, old. So I'll print the old frame buffer width and height, and I'll give it a window, and we'll say, we'll do this. Go run. So go print window. So we'll print it in 2 seconds. We'll wait 2 seconds and then print the frame buffer width and height. And if they're different, then that means we did not get enough time for the thing to update. Now it doesn't crash. Let's say here. They are the same. That's bad. Old and new, they are getting the same stuff. Yes, they are. At least the frame buffer is correct. What about the size? Old 1, old 2. You know, size 1, size 2. So just do get size, right? And S1, S2, and we do the same in here. Either this or the uniform is not being updated, right? This is correct, which hopefully it is. Old and new are both correct, it seems. They're matching. Yeah, they're matching. Okay, so in that case, we are potentially not updating in here in our game. Where's game? Where's game? Main. We are updating every time. Projection matrix. This is very odd. Projection matrix. Oh, that's why. We're using some very old window width and height. Oh my god. All right. That's why. So this is sad. But we found it. 1 to 80 width, 720 height, 1 to 80. So these are just the starting. But then every time, what we want to do is we say, well, when width and when height is, you know, window dot get size, right? I will do this. This is what we should do. Is there anyone else using this? Yes. Unfortunately. Wait, so where's 720? We're using it in our inits. Let's see. Loop. Okay. I think init is fine because we'll update it anyway. Yeah, I think this is okay here. Yeah. 1 to 80. Do 1 to 80? Yes, it is. So hopefully now we're doing it correctly. Yeah. Let's see. We have this. Shrink. Perfect. So you can see how the proportions do not get distorted. They're very, very nice. Perfect. Hello. Yeah, and we can see basically the camera position as it moves on the z-axis. 0, done. Y is up, right? So we're already 1 hour 30 minutes. Should we continue? We try to do more. So right now we have a very basic engine loop. I think after inputs is just weird. Maybe we'll do like Unity or something called like early updates. Early update. Maybe this just makes sense for objects and not for the game. You know what? We'll remove this. Frame start, update render frame end, and then these getters. Yes. You should be good. Okay. And in here, after inputs, just remove them. Cool. So we have this. It is still a bit manual because we don't have a proper object system. Obviously, we don't have an editor to get all of these things in. But as you can see now, if you want to make a game with nMage, right, use it as a library, you get nMage, you implement a struct with this, and this is your entire main function. That's it. This is it. You init, you create a window, and you run the game. That's it. And then you have init. In this case, our init is just loading a bunch of materials, meshes, textures, these kind of things. Well, if we have an editor, it does that. Otherwise, you do it in the code. Then we set a bunch of our own kind of uniforms and things like that. And then our update just has our stuff, like our actual logic. So camera movement, actually comment, camera movement, and yeah, rotating cubes. That's it. I am really hating the clear here. Take it into the game. So before render, yes, please clear it. And make sure it's at 4.14. We need a way to somehow not rely on these versions. I'm not sure. We'll see, I guess. Okay. Just confirm. Nice. Perfect. And we have IMGUI. Very nice. So I think next time, no, not next time, but something I would like to do is aside from the camera, so the engine loop is mostly done. Material system later, audio, abstract UI is very low priority because we have IMGUI. Right. Asset loading we kind of did a bit. We have kind of caching in the asset system, and we need entity component so entities, and we'll just say entities and components. That would be very interesting. There are libraries for entity component systems, but maybe it would be cool to do our own. But yeah, once we have those, components would be very important to get right, with the entities. So you can just say, instead of all of this, maybe say make a new like a player component and or a player entity adds a movement component to it or something like this. You just start scripting it. A camera might be actually important because it's pretty annoying to use without a camera. At the very least, a default camera, even if we only support one camera right now, that'd be great. Put some FOV settings on. Okay, so I think this is pretty good for today. We can commit. What is this? Asserts. So engine loop plus abstracts IMGUI, right? Completes engine game loop abstraction of IMGUI. This is good work. Okay, so thank you everyone so much for joining today. I think it's going to be very exciting next week or two for us to do a project instead of just having cubes rotating around. But let's see. Yeah, we might need to do actually a camera, or we just use a camera that like what we have now, maybe. But we'll see about that.